Hey, it's Stokely from Sauce Ondulé. Ondulé? I'm gonna figure out what I want to call it. I said Lee is better because Lay is kind of unnatural for the English speakers, right? And it sounds more like my son's name. So one of the another ingredient that's not a plant extract is sulfur. Now, sulfur is known as one of the most abundant elements on the surface of the earth. Um, it's used similarly to zinc oxide as a preventer of dandruff. Um, it's also used to kill bacteria. Sulfur is a major component of egg yolk, and I'm planning. I should be releasing an episode about lecithin, which is a thing that is also in egg yolk. And I have plant-based, soy-based lecithin in the formula, but sulfur is also a major component of eggs. That's why eggs are so great, I guess. Such a nutritional, you know, nutritionally significant thing. So sulfur, I mean, some people are allergic to. They'll say that they're allergic to sulfur, and it's not necessarily that they're allergic to sulfur. They're allergic to sulfates and sulfites, and this version of sulfur is the elemental sulfur, or some people refer to it as sulfur flowers, but it's just the elemental sulfur. It's not a sulfate or a sulfite. It's not combined or bonded or a molecule of, it's just the element. So I used sulfur because, for one, like I said, it's used to fight dandruff, which is attributed to bacteria. It kills bacteria in the formula, so it acts somewhat as a preservative. Or it inhibits the growth of bacteria, and that's very important when you create formulas, because when you create your product or hair product or cosmetic, it's not going to be used immediately. It has to be transported. It's on a shelf. The customer might not handle it sanitary way. They might put their dirty fingers in it, dirty hands in it. Who knows? Dust might fly into it. Airborne contaminants, airborne germs might, waft into it, etc. So it has to withstand external contaminants, and it has to inhibit and prevent any contaminants from growing that were introduced during the mixing phase. So or the creation or the manufacturing, during the manufacturing process. So that's why I use sulfur. It's great at fighting dandruff. It's one of the most abundant elements on earth, so it shouldn't react with most people. People who do have sulfur issues, they're usually attributed to sulfates and sulfites and stuff like that. Some people cannot eat eggs, and that is that may be a legitimate and that may be a direct allergy or allergic reaction to sulfur elemental. I'm not a doctor, but that's what I understand. I understand the sulfur, or the sulfur reaction that people have, is due to sulfites and sulfates. That's why many people, you know, may not, like I said, eat eggs, and they don't use certain products, and you know you know things like SLS, or there's two types of SLS, but um, you know, you can get alternate products that don't contain SLS. SLS, they might contain cocoa. Um, I forget exactly what it's called, but it's a saponifier, or saponifier, like in shampoos. You find SLS in shampoos, which is sodium lauryl or sodium laureth sulfate. Um, I'm not making a soap, so I'm not really too much concerned, or I haven't done much research on that. But people avoid it because of many reasons. It's supposedly uh, I don't want to speculate on what it does, but a lot of people avoid sodium laureth sulfate and sodium lauryl sulfate when it comes to shampoos and soaps. But this is not a shampoo or a soap yet. Um, I just wanted to talk about the sulfur ingredient. It's elemental, it's from the earth, it's abundant on the face of the earth. It's in eggs, which we ingest. Um, do people take it as a supplement? I'm not certain. Maybe they do. I'm not certain. But some people do have a reaction to sulfur. So that's something that should be mentioned. And in my listing on Amazon and in my listing on Etsy, I do mention that it contains sulfur. I do mention that it also contains rosemary essential oil, and I'll talk about rosemary essential oil at another time. That's something else.